Be live is very slow today. So, welcome. This is called Take What Rings True. And the whole idea is I talk about spiritual things and you take what rings true to you and let the rest go. You don't have to believe anything I say. Today, I'm going to talk about your desert period and resurrection. And I'm going to be using information that I got from my own desert periods and from a mentor, Francine, who was a spirit guide for Sylvia Brown, and maybe some Sylvia Brown ideas. So, you're going to take what rings true to you. If you believe in God or source or creator, I'll probably use the word God today, but whatever your word is. So, there are charts that we write about what we want to experience in life. So we write down the big things that we want to experience. So you want to get married, you want to have 2 kids, you want to work in a grocery store as a clerk, you want to have a wonderful trip to Egypt, whatever it is, you put down those things. But you also probably put down a desert period. And a desert period is a period of time, usually after you've had a great high in life in some way, a period of time where things completely change. All of a sudden, you realize that your reality is not what it used to be. It's a lonely, isolating test period that you wrote in to gain perfection. Because we try to perfect to get better, more knowledge in life. And that's why we're here to overcome adversity, to overcome lessons. So, in this desert period, you feel like everything's dropped away. You feel anxious. You feel no one has gone through the situation that you're going through, and no one is going to understand. It's a feeling of being totally alone, like walking, and it's like no one smiles at you, no one pays attention to you. And if they do, you don't believe them. You don't feel any warmth, you don't feel any joy, you feel fearful. It's not a fun state of being. You don't know what's real and what's not because reality seems to have shifted. But you see what you are made of because you tend not to get any help at all. You have an option when you figure out that you're in a desert period, you have an option to ask that things be speeded up. However, beware, that means it can become more intense, but it can be speeded up. I know I've been through at least 3 desert periods. The first 2 were horrendous. The last one, I didn't really realize I was in a desert period until I got a message in, I was doing a, what do you call it, past life regression for somebody, and at the end of the session, I'd, guided them to the other side, and a spirit guide came in, and, Sylvia Brown came and gave a message and said that I had just finished a desert period. It'd been, I don't know how many months or whatever. And I thought, well, no wonder. Okay. That's why I tried to meditate and it wasn't working. And I tried to do my own past life regression and it wasn't working. And I had a friend do a past life regression on me and I needed some information. I had him guide me to the other side. And it's like I could see Asna at the entrance, Mother God, and I wasn't allowed in. And then I figured out, okay, I was in a desert period. A desert period is a time when you said, okay, I don't want any help now. My personal angel can be here to make sure I'm breathing. And if I astral project, I'm okay. But otherwise, I don't want any help. I'm doing this part on my own. And then when we get in this period of doing it on our own, we go, why isn't anyone helping me? I'm asking for help. I'm praying. I'm, talking to my relatives. And then you don't believe Your your mate says that they love you and you're thinking, I don't know if they really love me. Nobody loves me. I just am in a rut. I keep going to work, going home, going to bed, getting up, going to work, and it seems like nothing's happening. You're just doing the same thing over and over again, and you just feel so alone and so out of it, so disconnected from the world, so awful. Of course, my last one, I didn't feel so much that way because I didn't realize I was in desert period. I just knew things were not working out, but things don't work out in life. But I guess I plowed through everything and I was in a better state of mind than the first two times I was in a desert period. So, one thing that happens is you start to go through periods of time in your life. You go through a time when you learn a great deal and you accelerate in your spirituality, and then afterwards you feel euphoric, you feel wonderful. It's like, oh, I learned all this, or I feel better, or I know this, or I'm just more connected to the other side, or I understand more. And then you have euphoria, and then you tend to go into this period of ostentatiousness. It's like you feel better than other people because you have gotten it. I got it. I know what's going on. So you have to be aware of having that feeling and negate it, because we're not better than anybody else. But we have this wonderful perception after we've gained in spirituality. And that perception will stay with us after the feeling of ostentatiousness goes away. So if you start feeling better than everybody, oh, I can do that better than that. I know better than that person. Oh, I just am more knowledgeable than that person. Then reflect and think, okay, I know where I am right now. Let's just let that go and stop judging other people and worry about myself and be happy in my advanced perception that I've been able to figure out more, that I'm more aware. Now, when you do become more aware, you also have the perception of the sensitivity that other people perhaps don't have. And you can get hurt more easily because you're more perceptive. And if you're more perceptive, then the responsibility falls on you when you're interacting with somebody else. If you be there, like ignoring the whole thing, it's because you're more perceptive. So you have to just let that go. Just let it flow through you. It's not their fault that they're not where you are. And we have to allow other people to have the advancement of their soul at their rate and to gain spirituality at their rate. And they're probably not as fast as you are. They're probably not gaining as much perception as you are. And that's okay. This is your journey, and they have their own journey. So often, if we just take time to reflect during the day, we figure out a lot of these things that we can let go of. And a lot of it is judgment of ourselves and judgment of others. So let go of the judgment. You're doing the best you can at this point in time. And if you've gained more in spirituality and you feel euphoric, yay, you. All right, you feel joyful. Now, the problem with the desert period is you do not feel joyful. You feel awful. So, after you've had a great gain in spirituality, that's often when a desert period will come. And there's an even worse thing called dead time. And that's when you have no connection to anything. At least in the desert period, you have this sense of, oh, the wires are just disconnected and they will be connected. There's hope. But when you're in dead time, even that thought is gone away. You're just like completely disconnected and you feel like no one is ever going to help me. I'm never going to get out of this period of time. Why am I even here? What am I even doing here? Everyone is ignoring me. No one is helping me. And then it's wonderful when you get out of it. So when you feel like you're in that desert period or dead time, either one, you can ask for it to be speeded up so that you get it over with. But remember, that's when everything stacks together and it becomes more intense. But to me, that's okay. It's just like get over with this and figure out what am I working on right now? What am I concentrating on right now that I may need to figure out? What is the reason that I chose to have a desert period at this point in time? And maybe there's some realization you need to come to. So you are not alone. It's just that you sense more and feel more. You're more responsible for your perception if another person is not as advanced as you are. So that's something you carry with you. But don't take any guilt. Don't take any karmic debt. Let that go. Any negative feelings, just let them flow through you. Any negative emotions, recognize them, face them, cry if you need to, kick a box if you need to, and let it flow through you. So, a desert period is not fun, but it is something that you can go through. It's a very isolated period. You feel like you're just lonely, even if you're in a big family that's always laughing. You feel like no one's hugging you. Even if they hug you, it's like, oh, they're not really hugging me. It's like your reality gets twisted and you're not allowed to feel what you felt before and not allowed to see what you saw before. It just doesn't make sense. So you don't want to just feel like you're just existing, which is what happens often in a desert period. And you get the feeling, especially if you're younger, what am I going to be? Where am I going? What does this all mean? And that can be the start of a desert period. So often you are there to learn in the desert period. You're often there to learn patience, endurance, just surviving life, tolerance. Those are some of the goals that you might have set. So if you're in a desert period, you might want to take time to reflect and see, is that something that I'm working on? Is that something that I seem to be um, coming up with in this point in time? So don't look at a desert period as a bad thing. Think of it as a cleansing. You're letting go of stuff, recognize what's negative and let go of it. And then you have space for wonderful things after your desert period. So have faith and know that if you just stick it out, you'll get through it. But believe it. Believe that you will get through it. The negativity doesn't last forever, but we have a tendency to freeze and just hold on. And you don't need to do that. Just let go of stuff and work through it. So you have those stages of life where you gain in spirituality. You have this wonderful perception. It's like, I got it. I understand stuff. I have this knowledge that other people around me don't seem to have. And then beware of the ostentatiousness. Don't have that feeling of, oh, I'm so much better than all those people. Or not. It's just at that point in time, you have euphoria. Yay. Which is wonderful to have. I love having euphoria. But let go of the feeling that you're better than other people. That's just something you need to really be aware of. Be still. Let the cleansing take place when you recognize it. Let go of the negative emotions. Let go of the negative feelings. And eventually, you'll walk out of it and find joy and know that that's coming. Or instead, you could gripe and shake and yell and knock your fist at the sky and say, "Why is this happening to me?" And instead, use this as a time to advance. Let that junk go and move forward. So it's a time of letting go and resurrecting yourself and your life. It's like you're a new person after that. You've cleansed all the garbage out. You've gone through this desert period. You survived it. Okay, now onward and upward. It's your resurrection at that point in time in your life. And know if you're going through a desert period, it will be over. It doesn't last forever. And you can ask for it to be speeded up. But remember, it will be more intense if it's speeded up because all those lessons are like stacked in at once. But to me, that's okay because it's already an awful time. May as well get through it. So, thank you for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you're not in a desert period, pat yourself on the back. You can have joy right now. If you are in a desert period, know that joy is on the horizon. And your spirit guides will talk to you again. And you will recognize God being around you again. And if you're not in a desert period, pay attention. God is sending you joy and love every day. Your spirit guides and angels are sending you joy and love every day. And your loved ones on the other side are too. So wrap yourself up in that joy and that love because it's available to you all the time. So be grateful that you're not in a desert period. And if you are, know you're coming out of it and you will resurrect to a new life, a new rebirth. As the angels say, every moment is a possibility for a new beginning. Every single moment. So thank you, guides. Thank you, angels. Thank you, God, creator, source. And thank you all for being with me today. Bye.